Hey guys! So today we're going to be doing another 5x5 challenge as requested by this wonderful person in my comments, and I know that a lot of you guys enjoyed it and so did I, so I decided to do it in a modern contemporary or modern mid-century style. For reference, if anybody is curious, this home came up to be about 140k, which I think is pretty reasonable. Alright guys, so I had a lot of fun with this one, so let's get straight to it. To blend the mid-century style with modernism, I decided to have the outside architecture very modern with slanted roofs and a lot of big windows, and inside I decided to use a lot of funky colors and wood tones almost everywhere and vintage furniture. Combining these aspects together really made for the perfect retro vibe that I was so happy with. I had so much fun building this, which I do have fun with a lot of my builds, but this one was definitely one of my favorites. Like, this is gonna be really hard to bulldoze. I don't know when I'm gonna be able to bring myself to it. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the layout I came up with. So we know that it's no bigger than a 5x5. It's 2 stories and it includes an office, a bedroom, a kitchen, a laundry room, a bathroom, and a lounge area. Overall, as I build later on, you will see that I did pretty well with the space provided, and I didn't make it look messy or overcrowded either, which I was really surprised about. The basic breakdown of the color scheme I came up with was this light tan or wood color, a navy color for the doors and roof, and for the inside walls, the majority of them are using the dirt texture with just a regular gray color. I definitely wanted to showcase the parts of modern mid-century and retro aesthetics that I find really cool. So that is the use of really bold colors against the contrasting dark wood tones. So a lot of my accent colors were primaries like red, blue, and yellow, and I also ventured in a little bit of secondary colors like orange and green. And since I usually don't use a lot of colors in my builds all the time, I thought it would make sense to listen to color theory this time and choose complementary colors. And I guess it worked this time because this is definitely one of my favorite interiors I've ever done. This also made me more confident and comfortable using a lot of different colors and color schemes in my future builds. When it came to the gardening aspect of this build, I went very simple this time. I used a flat roof on the basic layer to kind of make it look like there was a planted area for the soil, and I just used these bushes, and I decided to use them because personally I never use these type of bushes. I just don't find them like appealing to me all the time, so I never use them. So I pushed myself to use them in a way that I would like, and I was fine with the result. So I decided to include one of my custom benches, and it's really easy. You just put a basic shape on top and kind of make it the carpet texture, and it kind of makes it look really cozy and vintage, which I like for some reason. I don't know why I like this couch so much, or bench. why I like it so much, but I just find it so inviting to have at the front door. So I did that, and I think it was good because this house needed a little area for a front porch. Alright guys, so let me tell you about my process developing this kitchen. So initially I was gonna try to put the retro hood over the stove, but when I put the cabinet over it, I realized that I could not do that because they were colliding and it just looked terrible. So I was like, it's either the microwave or the hood, and I ended up using the microwave because I was like, this is Bloxburg, it's okay, you know, at least I still have the stove and oven, but overall I was like, oh my goodness. And then I was trying to figure out how to color the stove to match the scheme of the kitchen, and I got this far, but I did have to do the rest off camera, so the color changes a little bit in the next clip, but overall, yeah. So the only downside to this small kitchen is that there is literally no counters. What? And I don't think it's not noticeable, but it kind of is because I literally had to put the industrial sink, at least to have a sink, because I couldn't fit the sink anywhere else, and this sink at least offered a little bit of a bench underneath, whereas the other ones didn't, so this was my best option. I wanted to include like a bench and chairs for the table for dining, and I made this custom one because this was the smallest space I had and the only bench that fit was the industrial bench, so I just put some basic shapes on it and it came out really cute. Honestly, I would do this again if I wanted to do this approach again, but maybe in a bigger space. But for the space I had to put this in, I think it's really adorable and you can actually sit on it, so I feel like it's a win-win here. When it came to lighting, it was pretty easy. I first used the modern mid-century light that was already in Bloxburg for the dining area, and then for the sink area, which was supposed to be like an island, but it's really not. It's literally just a sink. I decided to use the layering method that I usually do, but I used two different types of pendants because I thought they fit the theme a lot more. So I decided to do that, and it looked awesome. It was great. This is when I knew that I was gonna nail this build when I when I finished conquering the kitchen. Okay, so we're moving on to the living quarters, which is the more important and more interesting parts of this build that I want to talk about. So in my head, I get really attached to my building. And I know I'm not the only one who builds and does this, but I kind of make up like scenarios of people who would theoretically live here. So in my head, this person has the occupation of being a photographer, but they also are a giant hobbyist, and their main hobbies would be being a music and car enthusiast, right? So a lot of the decals and decor items I have are surrounded by these hobbies in this house. So you'll see that really soon when I start adding decals. So there's a lot of music elements, a lot of media elements, a lot of car elements, things like that. But it really tied this whole house together. Like it really made it seem like I was making this for somebody that was going to live here and like these things. And when I tell you the love for this build grew and grew, I just couldn't contain it. Like I love this thing with my whole being right now. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like out of this world, but I'm really attached to this thing. And I guess it's partly because I also love music and I know a lot of other people do. And I put like a lot of my favorite artists as decals on this wall upstairs, like especially for the bedroom. That is my most favorite part that you guys will see. But even in the living room, I felt like the car decals, I was like, this is so realistic. I think I basically blew my own mind in a good way though. I really think it comes down to the fact that when you put aspects of yourself into what you create, which is whatever that is, it really elevates it to something you wouldn't think it would. Okay, I'm gonna stop ranting and get back to the build. So I came up with this idea to make this like, I don't know, it's like a custom bookshelf, I guess. It's I put a whole bunch of decor items on it and I made it look funky, so it's like not uniform at all. Like the shelves are different sizes. They have like a skinny part and like a wider part. So you'll see when I decorate it. It was really interesting. I like the design. And I like that you can see it from both sides, like as you're walking up the stairs and from the living room. Guys, let me tell you, when I thought this bathroom out, I thought it out to my full ability. So I split this bathroom into 4 quadrants, basically. And we have a shower, which has an indent, which I thought was smart because we're low on storage in this size of a house. So it's like an indent is perfect, you know, like you need somewhere to put your soap. And we have an area for the toilet, and the toilet is actually secluded in like a little corner, which I think is smart too because it gives more privacy. And also, if there was like theoretically more than one person in this house, which would be hard to do because it's small, but it's possible. I mean, one person could be in the shower, one person could be brushing their teeth, one person could be using the bathroom, one person could be doing the laundry, you know. So I thought that was smart thinking, guys. On the other side, we have the laundry. So I made the laundry stacked. So I was like, you know, when you're limited on space, always think vertically, guys. That's a tip. Always think vertically. If you don't have horizontal space, you have vertical space usually. So I thought the stacked idea was smart, and it was also modern. Like a lot of modern houses use stacked instead of like horizontal layout, so I was like, that works great. And for the sink area, I knew I wanted it to be separated from the laundry room area, but at the same time I knew that I needed shelf space for, you know, bathroom products. So I was like, I'm gonna knock this wall down and make my own custom wall. So in a minute you'll see me building this custom shelf, which is kind of similar to the shelf I built in the living room of this house, but it's more uniform. It's just regular shelves. There's no like columns in between, but it was really smart, I think, because it was a divider but also a place to put products when there's little to no space left in the bathroom. Not to mention, it also looks good and fits well within the theme. Alright guys, so time for my favorite part of the house, which is the bedroom, and I was really excited to do this room. It actually took me the longest. Like, this was my longest footage. It was 40 minutes of footage and I condensed it down to about 5 minutes, which I think is pretty good. So basically I went ahead and did a modern hairpin single bed because that's what I could fit in here, but it's really cute. You know, honestly, it's very cute. So I went very simple with the bedside. I don't really think I did too much here. It's very comfy looking though, so I'm happy with it. And I didn't want to crowd up this space too much because realistically, I don't think a house this small should have so much in it, but it still looks very nice. These were actually the only walls that I made wood as well. I wanted them to stand out because this was the highlight of the house in my opinion. So I ended up just adding a bedside table with a couple of little items on it and also some sleeping slippers, I think, at the edge of the bed, which is a touch I always do. And I also probably added a rug later on, which I think I did, yeah. I added that rug from the downstairs, I think, in almost every room of this house because it was just perfect for every scenario. So when it came to the decals that I really wanted to include, again, I mentioned I put a lot of the music artists I listen to in real life, and this wall right here was my favorite with the wardrobes and everything. I had everything. It was just so cute, guys, look. So I added a speaker for some music, and then I also added like a camera. The person who lives here is a photographer, so yeah, I was trying to emphasize that. So I really like this clock, but it really couldn't fit that well, but in the end I just was like I don't care if it's not showing all the way, I'm going to include this clock. So after that I went ahead and resized these shelves and made these like custom album cover shelves that you see in people's rooms a lot, which I used to decorate my room like this, especially when I was in high school. I would love to do this type of stuff, and I still have my posters, but I just don't hang them up as much. But these are real artists that I listen to every day. So we've got we've got Billie Eilish, which is my all-time favorite. I love Billie Eilish to pieces. You guys don't even understand. Tyler, the Creator, we've got Frank Ocean, we got Rihanna, and we got Lana Del Rey. So these are like my main focal points in the room. And then I also added like these longer posters of the album covers. So on the other wall you'll see I have like Arctic Monkeys, and then I think I also put Frank Ocean, but I did like different albums. So I had a bunch. Okay, I had like Tyler the Creator again, I had Billie Eilish of course, I had I think Clairo again, Frank Ocean again, and Arctic Monkeys. So it was really fun with this, and I love that I got to add in some instruments, and the perfect instruments in this case for me was some guitars. And personally I play guitar as well. I play both acoustic and electric when I'm not filming YouTube obviously, but music is definitely a passion of mine. So yeah, I was so excited to do this. It was so warming. I don't even know how to explain it, guys. I know some of you guys know exactly how I feel, but like, yes, this was my favorite part. Like, look at all the album covers. And I'm going to say I could have added a lot more of music artists to these walls, but the reason why I added these certain music artists was, one, because I listen to them a lot and I know that a lot of other people listen to them too. Two, because they're more mainstream and I really wanted it to be relatable and people could see maybe some of their favorite artists if they're watching this video. And I think another one is because remember I had mentioned I wanted to keep to a certain color palette. Well, I had to find album covers that were either red, orange, yellow, blue, or green, or black and white. And so I was like, I'm just going to stick to these, and if they don't stick to it, I'm going to unfortunately have to not be able to use them. And that's why there was only a select few of album covers that I used. Also, feel free to let me know who you guys listen to for music down in the comments. Okay guys, so I'm recording this at 3 a.m. and I know that that's insane. I really need to fix my sleep schedule, but enjoy the rest of this speed build for the last 2 minutes of the building process, and I'll meet you guys back for a tour. Okay guys, so let's get straight into it because we have a bit of a lengthy tour today. Okay, so right here we have this front planter type thing with some bushes in it. I thought it would be really cute. I think it'd be cute if I put like the address on it too. Okay, so over here we have like the front garden, which is nice to look at outside of the windows, and I'm just going to show you around all the plants. So we have some bushes and trees and like random little grass details, I guess. I'm going to show you around this area too, because some over here too. I love the colors and the new update tree that we got, so yeah. And then over here we have the same type of like planter with the bushes and everything just going alongside the house. So yeah. Okay, so let's make our way towards like the car area because I wanted to include a car because I thought this retro car would be perfect to tie in this house. And we have like a little trash can and mailbox, and I think it just all goes together really well. Okay, let's make our way up to the front porch. So we have our little front porch that has like a plant and the custom bench, and I love the front door. Just look at the lights, and the doorbell was a little detail. Okay guys, so when we first walk into the house, I made this little area for hanging your jacket and like putting miscellaneous items when you first walk in the door. I thought it would be good to just fill up that little bit of random space I had there. And then we can make our way into the main living area where we have our TV and entertainment type of center. I think it's pretty cute. It's small, but it's definitely essential. So then we have our little lounges underneath the stairs, which I find so warm, alongside our bookshelf, which is like honestly one of the best things I've ever built before. Okay, so let's make our way over to the kitchen area. So we have our sink and our stove and our cabinets and our fridge, and we have a little bit of pots underneath. And we also have our little dining area, which is also custom. And then we can make our way through to the bathroom, and I'll show you around in here. Okay, if it lets me close the door.
Get a load of this guy.
Okay, so we have our toilet here, which is isolated, which I like a lot. We've got this window here that does allow in sunlight and you can look out of. We also have our modern shower, and on the other side we have our stacked washer and dryer for laundry, and we have this divider that kind of holds all our bathroom stuff on the sink side right here. Okay, yeah, so that's the sink area with all our little appliances that we need for the bathroom. So let's make our way out of the bathroom and head upstairs. We're gonna do parkour as usual because we had to get over here. Okay, so we're gonna make our way up the stairs, and actually wait guys, we can actually view outside from the stairs, and I think I love that. Alright, so let's continue. So over here is my favorite wall of the house with all our album covers and all our like hobby themed decorations and things like that. And here are like the upstairs windows, and then over here we have our little comfy area. So right here we have our posters, and we also have our bed. Okay, let me close this so I can get around the bed. This is not supposed to be open right now.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Okay, so over here you can see our little table that has a little sleeping mask and things. We have our laptop and just things to make it look really realistic and cozy like a real bedroom would be. And then from here we can also make our way into the ensuite office space. Here we go. So we have our seating chair for an extra guest, a bookshelf, some posters, and of course a desk and a plant, because we have to have plants in this house somehow. Okay, so we can make our way back downstairs, and oh wait, I forgot to show you guys these shoes right here. I thought they were a nice pop-up color because I wanted to bring in more red. But anyways, let's make our way back downstairs and just look at the overview. I can't get over how much I love this house, really. I really do. Okay, so let me close the door and we can go and look at the overview of the exterior. Okay, now on to outro. Okay guys, I hope you guys really enjoyed today's video. As I've stated like 50 bajillion times in the making of this video, This is definitely one of my top, if not my top builds of this year. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff, and always feel free to leave suggestions down in the comments. And as always, I love you all, stay rad, I'll see you next week. Bye everyone!